Welcome to Stoke-on-Trent 100, Voices of the City, a collaborative project which is University of Staffordshire, Stoke-on-Trent City Council and also Cross Rhythms City Radio. It's to mark the centenary of Stoke-on-Trent. So what we're doing is talking to incredible people connected to the city, people from all sorts of different backgrounds. Some of them live in the Stoke-on-Trent, some of them are elsewhere in the world, but they all have a really strong connection. Now I'm going to hand you over to today's guest so that she can introduce herself.
Hi, thanks for that. My name's Angela Smith. I'm probably best known for supporting the only football club in this city, Stoke City, and also for being a former professional squash player.
And you weren't just a former professional squash player, were you? Come on, tell us.
I was very lucky to win quite a few tournaments and to be world champion with Great Britain and on my own. So you need a bit of luck to do that. You need an awful lot of hard work, but I'm still very, very proud of what I achieved.
Luck and hard work and also a lot of talent, I think.
Well, I don't know. People, there were better people than me talent-wise, but I just outran them and outfought them and probably scared them a bit. So, yeah, you do need a certain amount of talent, but that should never stop you trying to achieve your dreams. If I'd have started playing squash and not thought I can do this and getting some odd knockbacks, then I perhaps would have given up. But you have to be made of stern stuff in any professional sporting environment, and you have to have a bit of luck as well.
At University of Staffordshire, we're really proud that you're one of our honorary doctors, but you don't just support the university, you support the whole city, don't you? You're a really vocal ambassador for the city.
I do support the city, and wherever I've been lucky enough to live in the world through playing squash or stay in the world, Stoke-on-Trent's always been my home. It will always be my home, and we've always had a base. I've always had a base in Stoke-on-Trent after I left home, and that'll never change. I'm a person that loves their roots, and I'm very proud to come from this city. So it's always great when I'm asked to do something like this or to do anything for the University of Staffordshire to be able to help.
And you have a really strong following actually overseas. Can we talk about that briefly? So people in China know Angela Smith really well, don't they? Tell us about this.
I think people in China know Angela Smith better than people in Stoke. It's listen, I after I finished playing squash, as you know, sport opens doors in other fields, and I got asked if I could help Stoke City. I did a lot of work with the Community Trust, and I helped them set up an academy in China, which ran very successfully for 12 years, but sadly COVID came about. So it's not been the same going back to China since. We set up the academy. It went incredibly well. Out of that academy, we got 6 professional footballers, 5 boys and a girl, which is probably better than most ordinary academies get. Again, it's a bit of luck. And of course, the Chinese people loved Stoke City at the time, not because of any other reason other than whenever I met anybody in China, and I'm going to do this in the hope that people can watch on the video, they kept going like that to me when they saw me, which basically was Rory Delap's long throws. And Stoke became very famous throughout Asia, but certainly in China. So, yeah, and as you know, they came across and there was quite a big film done about what we'd achieved in China.
So
and I'm awfully proud of that.
Chinese state TV sent a big film crew over, didn't they? It was a couple of years ago now?
Yes, it was. And I know every step at the university going up into the new Catalyst building, because we had to do that take about 15 times. But it's incredible that Staffordshire University, as a result of what we did, as well as Stoke City, is well known in China.
This is wonderful, and we're really grateful to you. But
that was a pleasure.
Let's fire into some questions about being from Stoke-on-Trent. So what makes a Stokey?
Honesty, bit of integrity, and a love of the city. Most people, when they go away, and many people maybe say this to you in all the talks you're going to do, is first thing I do when I go abroad is pick up the cup or the saucer and have a look where it's from. A lot of people look at me as though I'm mental, and then I go into the story. But you have to do this because Stoke-on-Trent, it's the place where the best pottery in the world is made. Wasn't a great idea to start that off in China, but now everybody laughs and turns a cup or saucer over when they see me in China. But I would say warmth of the people in this city is second to none, and you just have a look at people that have come into, for example, the 2 football clubs. Most of them have never left.
Yes.
Jimmy Greenoff, who people of my age will know, he still lives in Alsager. Terry Conroy still lives in this area. You could just keep naming
Lou
people.
Macari.
Yeah, Lou Macari, who, again, has done lots of good work in this city, still lives here. You could go through the list. Ryan Shawcross, Gordon Banks and his family. There are so many great people that have come to Stoke, perhaps had a feeling of what Stoke was like, and then through living here, the warmth of the people, how they've been looked upon by locals has made them think, you know what, I want to stay here. And I think that says everything about Stoke-on-Trent.
Once it's got you in its claws, you can't escape.
Oh, yeah, it's like the Hotel California record.
Yes.
You can check out, but you can never leave.
So, next question. What's the best thing about Stoke-on-Trent?
Again, I would say it's the people. It's certainly not glamorous in terms of identity when you drive into the 6 towns, and that in itself can be a problem because people don't really know where the town centre is. We know it's up Hanley, as we say, but Hanley is suffering like every other city. I think, again, it's the warmth of the people. You could walk. I've had so many people say to me, you can walk into a shop in Stoke-on-Trent and somebody will say hello to you. If you did that south of Watford, they'd look at you like you were very silly unless they knew you. So again, it's the warmth of the people, and I think that comes through in everything we do.
Yes. Who do you most admire from this part of the world?
Wow. I admire anybody that's achieved at any level of industry, any level of sport. I admire people that have worked and got from nothing to be as good as they are. There are so many individuals I could mention. Obviously, I've got my own heroes, but in terms of people that have done so much for this city, you look at Robbie Williams. He's actually gone to another level with his talent. You look at footballers. You look at Nathan Heaney. You look at Rachel Shenton. There are so many people in sport as well. You know, Jane Sawyer's his daughter. You can look at sports people, but also you can look at people that have actually done well in industry. And although some people aren't from Stoke-on-Trent, Emma Bridgewater has done a fantastic job for this city. And you look at how many people have been employed, and I know other potteries are available. That, to me, says everything about the character of Stoke-on-Trent. We're hardworking people. People who invest in the people of this city get the best out of them, and they're the people I admire.
So not just the people who achieve something, but give something back to the city.
Yeah, I think it's really important to give something back to this city. I try to give back to this city. You know, I'm a trustee for the Macquarie Centre, and if you want to see some of the troubles and struggles that people have, then you only need to go down there. And while we're talking about people that you admire, I would say Lou Macquarie is one of the people I admire the most. I am lucky enough to see the work he does and to see how much of his own money he puts into that.
Yes.
And that's because he wants to give back.
Now, there might be people listening or watching this who aren't aware of Lou's work. So he works with the homeless, doesn't he?
He does. He has a place called the Macquarie Centre. He has a charity called the Macquarie Foundation. And he made a decision many years ago that he would try and do something for people in Stoke. He'd heard there were a lot of homeless people. And without going through the story too much, he went to Hanley, he had a look round, there were people on the streets, and he thought, I have to do something with this. And then he got a building in Regent Road, then he got another building in Regent Road, and now we're based in Stoke. But to see some of the success stories that have come out of people in abject poverty,
yes.
Not even for their own reason with some people, just bad fortune. Yes, some people have had alcohol struggles and drug struggles, but they're not alone in that. But they've turned their lives around.
Yes.
And some of those people that have turned their lives around are now volunteers at the centre. And I'm incredibly proud of being a part of that.
And it isn't just Lou's name, is it? He's there every day, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, and most nights too.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to wonder if Lou's got a home to go to because you have to turf him out. But he's so well loved because it's genuine.
Yes.
And everybody, you know, there's a lot of former Manchester United players, supporters, Stoke and Vale players go down, and it shocks people to see where these people have come from. And if you hear some of the stories, my word, you'd never moan again.
Does he treat them like a football manager? Are they his team? Is he rallying them on? And you know?
If they don't do things properly, I would say he can be a bit of a hairdryer like Alex Ferguson, but he's very understanding, and he tries his best to help people. Look, we know that some people that go through the centre, Lou will know better than anybody, won't ever make it back to where they should be.
Yes.
For millions of demons that might be in their life, but Lou will be the last person to give up on them. And that's the most important thing. Every single person has a place in society as long as, while Lou considers them worth saving, he'll do everything he can. And it will be a very, very last resort if they have to leave the centre, and very few do.
And he's found people like you who can give their own passion to it as well.
Well, he didn't find you. He sort of came and took us all by the scruff of the neck, myself and one or two other people, you know. And you do feel Lou's doing all this, so I can't really say no.
Yes.
And I'm really glad that I didn't say no. Nick Hancock's another trustee who is very pleased. Rachel Shenton. We all do what we can. And as I say, if you ask me who the person that makes me the most proud at this moment in time of coming from here, it's Lou Macari. He doesn't come from here. He's made it his home, but he has made a huge difference to the homeless situation in this city. And we should all be incredibly proud of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, moving on to the next question. If somebody comes to Stoke-on-Trent, perhaps from China, and they've not been here before, where do you take them to?
I would never take them for a Chinese, I promise you that. But I personally, the spots I like the most are Rudyard Lake. And I have actually taken people to Rudyard from here and they love it. You can go to do the Alton Towers, which obviously they all love the thrill light rides. I know that's not in Stoke, but it's everybody associates it with this city. The only other place I think they have to go to is the Bet 365.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because, you know, there are other clubs available, but it is the best. And I would take them to places like Park Hall, because you can go to the top of the hills in Park Hall and you can see the whole of the city and further spaced out before you. And the one thing that the Chinese and other visitors have said is that they didn't realise what a green city this is.
Yes.
And it is one of the greenest cities in Europe. And we get a bad rap, and anybody I see, I try and prove that it's not quite as bad as we're painted, because no matter how much we sit and talk now and other people will talk about how good Stoke is, the national media have a different agenda. And if you're thinking about coming to this city, some people probably will not have come here. They'll have tried to go to Cheshire, Derbyshire or wherever because they hear that Stoke's, dare I say it, quote, a bit of a dump. Well, there'll be a levelling up at some point which will change that. But you look at the new places being built down by Stoke Station. But I think if people open their eyes and have a look at what's around here, that coupled with the warmth is what you do. But certainly I would take them to those three places that I said.
And we're lucky to have ambassadors like you who go around the country or around the world saying how great Stoke-on-Trent is.
That's very kind of you. Sometimes some of the looks I get, I'm surprised that I should really have a camera and get people's facial expressions. But when they come to Stoke, they without exception, people have said to me, wow, I would never have expected it to be like this.
And you've had so many opportunities in your career to go and base yourself elsewhere, London or wherever, but you've never wanted to be anywhere but here, have you?
On a day like today, when the weather's not brilliant, I'd go back to Nassau for a few days in the Bahamas, where I was lucky enough to have a base coming in and out. Because if I just go to my squash career, I had to come back to the UK every other weekend to keep my ranking. So when I lived in places like the Bahamas, etc., it was great to come home. And I think when you come home, you appreciate, okay, the weather's not great, but you appreciate this is your home. And I always remember, I came back a couple of weeks ago from an overseas trip, and as you're flying into Manchester, you virtually, unless the weather's bad, you fly straight over Stoke. And a little warmth comes all over me, and I think, I'm home. But for me, Stoke will always be my home. A lot of people think, well, she's not, she's mental, but Stoke is, for me, the centre of the universe.
So next question, complete the sentence for me. Stoke-on-Trent is more than?
A dump. No, Stoke-on-Trent is more than just a creation of 6 towns. It's a place where everybody, if they work hard, will get a job. Everybody, if they work hard, will get appreciated. And everybody, when they go into a store, unless they're extremely unlucky, will get a welcome and a smile.
Brilliant, thank you. Now, our next part of the interview, we've asked you to bring something in. We're calling this cop out of this. Now, I think you can probably say that better than I can. I think, do you want to say it?
Well, I can try my best Potter's accent. Cop hold of this.
See, better than me. So, shall we describe this for people who are listening on the radio?
Yeah, I was very lucky enough. Well, I was lucky to carry the Olympic torch through the city, and I thought of bringing that up, and then I thought, no, people might expect that. And I thought of bringing up a few trophies. But a long time ago, we had, just as well as the Sporting Hall of Fame, again, I was very lucky to be the first woman on that.
Yes.
And I'm incredibly proud of that. They had a Sports Personality of the Year award, and I was lucky enough to win that. And I know Nathan Healy will say something similar, but having won world titles, winning something in this city is the best for me. So I thought, to be fair, I ought to bring something up that really means what I feel about Stoke. And I got gifted this from the city of Stoke-on-Trent for the work I did in sport. And to me, that crest says it all. And when you've got the Latin at the bottom, which means united strength is stronger, I think that's what makes Stoke so special. We are all together. If somebody comes into this city and rips it up and says something bad about it, you look at programmes like Question Time, you'll get lots of people defending this city. So for me, being part of this city, having played for Great Britain and England, wearing the crest of Stoke-on-Trent is the most important thing for me.
And just to describe it for people listening rather than watching, so it's a ceramic crest.
Yeah, it's a ceramic crest, obviously in red and white.
Yes.
With the City Council crest on top of it, which for a few years Stoke used as the badge on their shirt. I think they wore it in the 72 cup-winning team. But it's got all the emblems of the 6 towns on it, and I'm very proud. And of course, at the top, you've got the Potters.
And was that the City of Stoke-on-Trent Sports Awards that you received that?
Yeah, I got it for the City of Stoke-on-Trent Sports Personality Award.
Okay.
Which I'm very proud to have won, which sadly they don't have anymore.
Do you remember that evening? Who presented it to you?
I can't remember who presented it. I had a chat with the family the other day. There was consensus that it was the Lord Mayor or the Lady Mayoress. I just remember they had a big chain on, and I didn't think I would win it.
Yes.
And it was at the old Maxims in Hanley, where the old bus station was. And I was immensely proud, and I can tell you that it was the day of phone boxes, so this is dating me. And I had to put some money in the phone box and ring my mum and dad, and I told them that I'd won it, and I think my dad went straight down the pub to tell everybody.
Yes.
So it was a very proud night for me. And one seriously, being appreciated by the people of your city, because the people of the city voted. It wasn't done by a panel.
Yes.
It was done by votes in those days. And for the people of the city to vote for you, it meant a lot to me. It was very special.
You're a world champion. In some ways, does that mean more?
What, being a world champion?
No, the local
Without
accolade.
a doubt, getting acknowledged by people from this city means the most to me.
Yes.
Because every day you walk around in this city, listen, Stoke people are very good. If you lose a tournament or a game, you're not supposed to lose. They're not shy in telling you that you weren't very good. But the support I've had from the people of this city is second to none, and I'll always appreciate that and thank everybody that's ever said well done or you could do better or whatever. The people of Stoke try and get behind everybody that promotes this city, whether it be in industry or in sport or as a teacher. They love you for that, and that's why it's so important to me.
A lot of sports stars at the minute, Jasmine Sawyers, Nathan Heaney, etc., they really proudly wear their Stoke-on-Trent badge. You've always been like that too, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's just something that happens. You're born here.
Yes.
You grow up, your role models are all from this city, or most of them are. You realise what this city means to people, particularly to your families.
Yes.
And so you just adapt that and adopt the situation that you're in. And I'll not change. I've said it before. I mean, I said Stoke-on-Trent's the centre of the universe, but really Bucknell's the centre of the universe. Stoke's a close second. And I do genuinely mean it. For me, I get so disappointed when any of our athletes or anything that any people do, they go on TV in a quiz show, they take part in a competition. They're from Stoke, I want them to win. If they don't win, I'm really upset and disappointed for them. It's the competitive nature of me, I think.
So do you secretly support both football teams?
No. Well, I support Stoke and Stoke juniors and reserves, etc., and the women. No, I don't. And that's probably thanks to my dad. My mum and dad used to do Stoke one week, Vale the next, because it was hard to get to away matches when they were young. And my dad used to wind me up immensely if Stoke lost and the Vale won. He supported them both equally. And from that moment on, I was too similar to my dad. I thought, nah, I'm just going to support Stoke. And he continued to wind me up throughout my life. Look, I hope Vale do really well. I know the Shanahans, they've kept the team going. I hope they do great in any division that they're in. But when it comes to playing Stoke, I hope we batter them every time. And I'm sorry, that's just the way I am.
Oh, no, that's great. Our final question today, if you could have one wish for Stoke-on-Trent for the next 100 years, what would it be?
It would be to be better and stronger and just as creative as we are now, but for the things in this city to be better so that every person can have a job doing what they want to do. Everybody can have a lifestyle that they aspire to, but everybody can have a happy and healthy life.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for being our guest
My
today.
pleasure. Thanks for asking me.